Alright guys, I'm here with my review of WCW Uncensored 1999 from Louisville, Kentucky. And this show was just crazy. I have no idea what they were thinking with this. This was just nuts, the stuff they came up with. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but this was requested by Jericho Rocker 1234. And I thought, oh yeah, sure, I'll do a video for this show. I mean, I like WCW, but oh man, I definitely didn't like this. This was just bad. I watched the entire thing on YouTube, so if for some insane reason you want to see it, you can. But Uncensored was always like WCW's version of Extreme Rules. You had, each match would have like some crazy stipulation. I remember one of them, Dustin Runnels, Goldust. He had a match with some guy in the back of an 18-wheeler, and he bladed, and they fired him for it. This was years ago, so Uncensored was around for a while, and they would use it to do like some hardcore stuff and crazy stipulations, but oh my goodness, I'm just going to get right into this show. It starts with Mikey Whipwreck. He debuts against Billy Kidman for the Cruiserweight title. Probably the best match on this entire show. Bobby Heenan calls him Mikey Shipwreck, which was awesome. He hits a great head scissors. They did some cool guardrail spots. He picks up Kidman and drops him on the guardrail. They did some good stuff, some dives. Whipwreck is working as a heel, and Kidman almost breaks his neck after this super back body drop off the top rope. It was crazy stuff. Kidman wins with a shooting star press. However, Whipwreck looked really strong in his debut, and I thought it was a decent opener. So all of that stuff was okay. Then we get Vincent versus Stevie Ray in a Harlem street fight on a pay-per-view. I mean, I can't believe this is on pay-per-view. This was horrible. They're both in the NWO black and white. They brawl into the crowd, and they actually fight over this section of seats that's been blocked off. Now, at first I thought, okay, maybe they'll use it again later. But no, WCW actually wasted money blocking seats so that people couldn't buy tickets for them in order for these guys to wrestle up there. They spent money for Vincent versus Stevie Ray. And they didn't even do crap up there. I think he tossed Vincent over the seats. That was it. Stevie Ray's ass says slapjack on it. That was probably the highlight of this entire match. I thought that was hilarious. Vincent hits a headbutt to the groin on Stevie Ray, which he doesn't sell at all. Horace comes out, throws in a slapjack, and says, "I'm the real leader of NWO Black and White. I don't care who uses it." Well, it turns out nobody uses it because Vincent picks it up, and then Stevie Ray hits the pedigree, or his finisher, the slapjack, and he gets the win before he can use it, and that was it. This was a horrible, horrible idea for a pay-per-view match. And it gets worse. Then we get Kevin Nash with Lex Luger and Elizabeth versus an unmasked Rey Mysterio Jr. Nash comes out and gets a cheap pop from the crowd, even though he's a heel. I don't understand the thinking here, the logic. He comes out and says this stuff, and then Luger trips Ray in the match, so Nash hits the jackknife, and he gets his win back. Apparently, Rey Mysterio beat him on Nitro, and Nash just had to get his win back here, so he beats Ray at the pay-per-view. Then we get a promo by Raven, where he's sitting in the back somewhere. That was kind of cool to see again. Sandman promo where he canes his head, and then one with Bam Bam Bigelow because they have a match later. Then we get Jerry Flynn versus the Cat Ernest Miller and Sonny Ono in a handicap match. Oh, no one cared about this. No one in the crowd cared, and it lasted way, way too long. Flynn tosses the Cat into Sonny Ono, and Flynn pins him. But the Cat jumps in to break it up, but the ref still counts 3. So the wrestlers look at each other, they're all confused, so Flynn just beats up Sonny some more. What the hell? That was it. Typical WCW booking right here. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew what the finish was supposed to be, apparently. The ref wasn't in on it or something. I don't know. But just wait until the main event when it gets even more complicated with this booking. So then we get Bam Bam versus Hack, or Sandman, versus Raven with Chastity, who's supposed to be his sister. Hack's music is a cheap ripoff of the ECW theme. Chastity brings out a hamper full of weapons, trash cans, ironing board, mailbox, some oars. But there was just so much of this stuff that the entire time the wrestlers are tripping all over it. It was just way too much crap. So Raven helps Bam Bam powerbomb Hack onto a table. It doesn't break. So Bam Bam just jumps off and puts himself through the table. Hack is right back up after this. Kane's Bigelow. Bam Bam puts a table in the corner. Hack throws Bam Bam into it. This one doesn't break either. Raven hits a DDT and then duct tapes Hack and starts beating him in the head with chairs. He hits him in the head 4 times or something. The tape immediately broke, but it reminded me of the Mick Foley Rock spot, the I Quit match. So, let's see where I am. Bam Bam hits Greetings from Asbury Park on Raven, and he sets up another table. So, he's going to the top rope. He takes a fire extinguisher. He sprays Chastity at ringside. Then he climbs to the top rope. She jumps out with another fire extinguisher, sprays Bam Bam. He takes a bump through the table. That sounds fine, except he never put Raven on the table. There was a table, and Raven was right next to it. Why the hell would he go up top? It was just so obvious he was doing the spot here. Chastity gets in the ring, sprays Raven with the fire extinguisher, turns on him, headbutts him in the groin. Same move that Vincent did to Stevie Ray that he no-sold, and this allows Hack to pin Raven and beat him. After everything he's been through, that's what took him out. Just not very good at all. So Hack, Sandman wins the match. Then we get the tag title Lumberjack strap match. You got Lumberjacks, Ming, Hugh Morris, Norman Smiley. You know the deal with these types of matches. It's a tag team title match with Kurt Hennig and Barry Windham. They're the champions versus Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko representing the Four Horsemen. I am not sure if this was when Kurt Hennig and Barry Windham were doing the whole redneck gimmick. I do remember something like that in WCW. I think they made a country music video or some crazy crap, but I don't know if this was that far into it yet. But Arn Anderson comes out and he takes Chris Adams' spot. My spot. So Anderson hits Hennig with the tire iron, and Benoit hits a diving headbutt for the win. We get new tag team champions. There was quite a few botches in this match, some miscommunication, but at least they used the stipulation. And boy, did they ever. I mean, they were tossing guys out where the Lumberjacks would beat them with the straps the entire match. Tons and tons of times. Then we get Chris Jericho versus Ralphus, or Chris Jericho with Ralphus, who was awesome, versus Perry Saturn in a dog collar match. Perry Saturn here, oh my god. His music is a ripoff of Marilyn Manson's Beautiful People. He's wearing a dress made of chains and gothic makeup, like black lipstick. And he's got these green contacts in, and he just looks stupid as hell. It is sad watching this. And another match that nobody cared about at all. Jericho calls him Rue Perry and tells Ralphus to put the collar on. Ralphus refuses, so Jericho slaps him. The match was just really dead. Nobody knew who to cheer for because Jericho was a heel and Saturn looked like an idiot. So nobody was cheering for either of these guys. Saturn puts his dress over Jericho's head and hits the 10 punches. And some people actually pop for this. Like, yeah, put your dick in his face. I couldn't understand that either. Jericho takes Saturn's collar off and wraps it around his body. He goes up for a moonsault. Saturn tries to roll out of the way for the spot, and Jericho still hits him. So he gets up, he goes to the top rope again, he goes for a splash. This time he misses. Saturn hits the Death Valley Driver, gets the win. That was it. It's really not the worst dog collar match I've ever seen in my life, but it's just the crowd was so dead, and Saturn looked like a complete goofball out there, so it really hurt it. Then we get Scott Steiner with Buff Bagwell representing the NWO Wolfpack versus Booker T for the TV title. Buff Bagwell comes out, and I think he actually screwed up the Wolfpack symbol, because he's doing something like this, where he's like doing the rock symbol and then doing the Wolfpack symbol, and it just struck me as funny. But so Scott Steiner is trying to act pissed off. He's throwing the TV title, he's yelling at the ref, and then Buff Bagwell takes a fan sign that's pro Steiner and holds it right in front of the guy. Like, he just has no clue. I don't know if Buff Bagwell was high or something, but he was just being even dumber than he usually is out here tonight. So Buff puts... Wait a minute, what happens here? Buff actually pulls Booker out of the ring and starts hitting him, and then tosses him into the guardrail right in front of the referee. So I'm starting to think to myself, is this no disqualification? Well, no, it's not, because later on, Buff only attacks Booker behind the ref's back, so it was obviously a botch. So he blatant interference here, right in front of the ref, probably 5 minutes into the match. So that confused me at first, and then I realized it's WCW, just go with it. So let's see what happens here. Buff Bagwell brings in a chair. He tries to hit Steiner, or Booker accidentally hits Steiner. Booker kicks the chair in Buff's face, pins Steiner, gets the win, new TV champion. Oh god, then we get the main event. Ric Flair versus Hulk Hogan in a steel cage with no doors, barbed wire on the top, first blood match. Supposedly first blood match. If Flair wins, he becomes the new champion and WCW president for life, which I guess, this being 1999, what is that, like 2 years? So, if Hogan wins, Flair is fired. Flair cuts a promo telling the ref not to stop it for scratches, but first blood. You gotta have blood if you're gonna stop this match. Your discretion. So the match starts. Hogan comes out. He's representing Wolfpack. I don't even remember Hogan being in Wolfpack. I think the last time I was really watching WCW as a fan, the Wolfpack had just formed. It was like Nash, Conan, Macho, Luger, and Sting. I don't remember anything after that. When it started to be like Horace in charge of the black and white, it just, horrible, horrible times. So, someone actually throws toilet paper into the ring here, and because it's a cage, they can't get rid of it. I thought that was funny. Flair gets busted open. So he's bleeding. And it's a decent amount of blood. It's enough to call a first blood match and say Hogan wins. But Hogan pulls down some barbed wire, rakes it across Flair's head even more. Tony Schiavone actually says, "Is this first blood?" Well, let's just forget about that for now, since the match is obviously still going on. He actually said that on commentary. Like, we know this is crazy bullshit, but just go with it, since you paid like $45 for this pay-per-view, or whatever it was back then. So, Hogan pins Flair after a leg drop, but the ref doesn't count, because it's a first blood match. So, Flair hits Hogan with a foreign object, and he starts to try and bust him open. David Flair and Torrie come out to cheer on Hogan. Hogan works over Flair, and the ref does a slow count. So he's actually starting to count pins now. Then the ref takes a bump. Arn Anderson comes out, hits David Flair, hands Flair the tire iron, and he uses it to knock out Hogan. Then the ref is back up. Flair gets Hogan in the figure 4 leg lock. And since Hogan's shoulders are down, the ref counts 3. Flair wins the match, new champion and president of WCW for life. He won a first blood match with a pin. That's all you need to say. Afterwards, they play Flair's music, he leaves the arena, and then they just play the Four Horsemen theme song and the show goes off. I am surprised just how crazy this is, because I really did like WCW. I was a fan of WCW. You know, you had Sting, Vader, those matches, Cactus Jack. It had some great stuff. It was always really goofy, though. It always had some goofy stuff. But then you had the NWO, and it really took off. Like, I liked the hardcore matches with Raven and DDP, Raven and Chris Benoit. But this show just, I don't know what the hell this was. This was horribly put together. So, yeah, that's it really. I don't really have anything else to say about this one. I personally do not ever want to watch anything WCW from this point forward. Anything after this show, 1999 till the company closed, I don't think I ever need to see that stuff again. It is just really, really terrible. And that's it really. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you got some entertainment out of this review at least. Like I said, the show is on YouTube. If for some crazy reason you want to watch it, you can. And you can see all this stuff I'm talking about. But this was just terrible. So that's it, guys. Leave your thoughts on this show in the comments, and thanks for watching.